All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. And we're winding down the week, man. And as promised, we've got our special guest all week long coming back to just kind of give you some things to think about. Those of you that have been following us, yes, autism from overwhelmed to empowered, right? And all the things that we've been talking about the last few weeks, the ABCs of autism, the Ds of autism, the struggles and the strength that we gain from stepping into the struggle as a single parent or as a parent that's gone through a divorce and still responsible for the children, that whoever you might fall in that situation, maybe not you're ever married and relationship, something. Mindset is a powerful thing around how you handle other things in your life, like the frustrations that happen, like the difficulties that we deal with kids, particularly with kids that have some opportunities. And so we hope that we shared with you some things that you can use to stand stronger, to be calmer in the storm, right? Everybody's going through some kind of storm. We always believe in this community around seeing our life, the comebacks in our lives as opportunities and not limitations, right? Because they're either starting a comeback, or what I mean by that, something's happening that you didn't expect, or you just been working on it, something's happened again, or you're in the middle of it, you thought you had it fixed, and it's still lingering on in your day-to-day activities, or you just got finished with that one thing. And you're thinking, man, boy, it's going to be smooth sailing. No. For those of you out there that are moving through life with intention and purpose, and even those that you aren't, it shows up. Life be life, and no matter where we are. So, and we believe that dealing with the additional responsibilities and privileges with children of autism or a partner with autism it just adds to it. So I want to remind you, like we do every time we show up here, is that, man, you can do this thing, right? And it's possible to make it through, as Tiffany shared from her experiences with it, and she was like, she's no different than anybody else, right? But you can also make it through. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jeff Tyson. I'm the host of this program and sponsored by Comeback King Enterprises, where their message, their mission really is to create that identity where we see our life as an opportunity. The comebacks in our life, so not limitations, but man, to see them as an opportunity, and what feels like a struggle and a strain and a stress that kind of builds those muscles, builds those comeback muscles, baby, so that we can then stand tall and be the person that we are meant to be, in spite of whatever comes along, whatever challenges show up, right? And we amplify that opportunity across the world. So today we're going to kind of close the week up. Going to bring Tiffany back to us, and she's going to talk a little around continuing the mindset, perspective, and some other things that she has in store, and give you a little homework for the weekend. So with no further ado, let me bring to this conversation my dear friend and expert, Tiffany Collins. Hey, girl, what's up?
Hello. Happy Friday to your audience, to
Happy
everyone.
Friday.
Wear your
Yes.
bright colors. Be
Yeah.
happy.
Be happy.
Sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you as always, my friend. Happy
It is
Friday.
great to be here. Great to be here again in this space and to be able to talk to people about changing their mindset. I think it's amazing that we have on these bright colors because, as I've stated in the past, I was one of those people that wore a lot of black, and
Yeah.
sometimes we reflect how we're feeling. And
Mm.
so, if that's just something I can share with people, is sometimes just changing your environment and what you put on each day, how you clothe yourself, just like we can clothe ourselves in righteousness, we can clothe ourselves each and every day and kind of predict how our day will turn out,
Yeah.
and sometimes just that brightness will shine a light on others as well as lift our downtrodden feelings
Yeah.
or disposition.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, we're bright on the outside, but the beaming from the inside, that we get once we start to work on those other mechanics and how we see ourselves and how we envision our behaviors and all those things, they all kind of blend in together, right? And
Yes.
it's hard not to feel good when you look good,
Yes.
right? And you always come to the show just colors boldly and showing up. So we appreciate that. You're living what you talk about.
Yes.
So it's been a good week. What do you want to talk about real quick today? And then we'll get.
Well, again, I want to continue in the vein of the mindset. When I think of that word, I think of it in terms of the mind reset. Sometimes we have to reset our mind each and every day. We should wake up and say, you know what? Even though I have this stinking thinking, how do I get rid of that? If our house doesn't smell great, we go and get some Febreze or some type of disinfectant or something, and we put
Yeah.
something over it. And so we want the aroma of your life to now not have that downtrodden feeling, but to begin to renew your mind so that each and every day is fresh and anew.
Yeah, yeah, that's something that we all start out with. But what happens when you have that in mind? So they say, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna listen to Tiffany and Jeff. And today I've done all the things. I looked in the mirror. I went through my mirror moment exercise. I had that conversation. I got everything straightened out. The kids was kind of cool. And you go out in the world and bam, the world shows up.
They
And
beat you
everything's
up. They beat you up. But you know what? I always use the analogy of the prize fighter.
Mm,
Yeah, the world beat you up, but you have to find those cornermen. And that's part of the
mm,
community that we're trying to create here is that cornerman, that person that is going to, when you've got those scratches and those scrapes and you've been, almost knocked out, but you can just crawl over to that corner and sit on the ropes and they can apply that healing balm, or they can, give those words of encouragement and tell you you can make it and you can go back out there. And sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. But like I said earlier this week, you want to make sure that you have your Fab Five. If you don't have five people you can go to, if you have three, someone's that's going through what you've gone through, someone that's in it right now, and someone that's out of it. And that's part of the community that we are trying to create, is to again provide that encouraging support for you, as well as sometimes you just can't do it all by yourself. You
yeah,
need someone that maybe will text you and say, you know what, I'm proud of you. Those are such important words. As parents, sometimes we forget to say that to our children, but that's something I make a habit of saying to people, is I am proud of you,
yeah,
regardless if you're having a good day or a bad day. The things that you are doing it's changing lives. It's not just yours, but the future. So if no one else tells you today, I am proud of you, and
yeah.
what you're doing is amazing, and you were built for this.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's just give the flowers while we're all alive, and the people can receive them, right? Let's don't take them. Let's don't steal that opportunity to pass on some joy to people, that need that joy. And sometimes, we have to maybe reverse it, and maybe that person that's been trying to help, and they caught you at the wrong time, and maybe there's some folks out there, Tiffany, that are kind of like, man, I could really use his or her help, but last time they were there, I just was a real
Yeah.
beep, beep, and and we like to keep it real, right? I mean, these things
Yeah.
happen, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I did some bonehead stuff that they were and coming riding with my wife, so that happens anytime, right?
Yes.
What can you say to that person that was the last person that would help them, and they just blew it up? I mean, how can they reset?
You have to remember that we are given grace and mercy to give it
Mm,
away. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I have to be perfect. But people make mistakes, and we have to remember that we forgive them, we give them grace, just like we do for ourselves. Is that we have to understand that we will make mistakes, but what is so important is that we're able to go back and make amends. We're
mm,
able to mend it. It's just like sewing. You got a sock with a hole in it. You're able to mend it up with your words and your deeds and your actions each and every day. And like I say, every day we have the opportunity to change what happened yesterday,
right.
what happened 10 minutes ago. That's why it is so important that each and every day we wake up and we just thank God for another opportunity. to
Yeah.
correct yesterday's mistakes.
Yeah. And then the only person, and this kind of goes to maybe when you look at that, when you compare yourself for today, only compare yourself to that person yesterday. So if you have something in that situation like you're talking about, you have the opportunity today to do it differently and to handle it differently. And I
Yes.
think that that's so important because we're creatures of habit. We do what's comfortable, and when we're already stressed and burdened with things in life, we have a tendency to just kind of fall into that little shell, or reach out and attack people, and so it really just kind of try and get as empty as you can of all of the angst or
Yes.
frustrations that you're carrying, so that you be more giving and more graceful there. So I like the Fab Three and the Fab Five that you talk about, and maybe for the audience before we get out of here, what's a spot that if they maybe need some more clinical help or some more higher level help than the Fab Five could be. What's an organization or reference that you might be able to speak to? Uh,
So, so yes. So those that are dealing with children with disabilities, a lot of times that can become overwhelming. Reach out to your clinical professionals, whether it's a counselor, even the school counselor at school. They can maybe give you a referral for some
mm,
additional help. Look at your organizations. If your child has Down syndrome, see if there's a Down syndrome support group. If they have autism, there's the Autism Society. There's a lot of social groups and networking groups, even Facebook groups that, if you can just pose a question there, and say, hey, my child is doing this. Does your child do this? And what do you do? So there's
mm,
so many resources that are at our fingertips. We're here, feel free to DM us, so that if you need a space and a place to go, we want to be able to give you that referral. Make sure that you can make it through that moment, because sometimes it's just in that moment that we need to have
mm.
someone come and stand alongside us.
Yeah, I like that. Make a space for a space for space. However you just said that, and stand alone and do that. That's good. So there's pretty easy, accessible stuff that they can do,
Yes.
and find. And like you said, always they can reach out to us and point them in the right direction, because you've been on different community outreaches and statewide programs, so you have some information that will really be beneficial to them when we do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so
Yes.
so okay. Well, I mean, you talked a little bit about the mindset and kind of the Fab Five, and then some resources. How do you want to wrap this up here in the next minute before we get out of here?
Well, I always want to remind people that, again, when we're going through something, we have to remember the key word is we're going through it.
Mm,
Whether it's a bad day, whether it's a bad week, we're going through it. Don't just sit there. Don't fixate and say, you know what, it's never going to get better, because
mm.
it is. And so, what you have to do is truly just take it one day at a time. I always joke about that song that says, one day at a time, sweet Jesus.
Sweet Jesus.
Because sometimes we have those sweet Jesus moments, like, Lord,
Yeah.
if you don't get me
Mm,
out of this, I don't know what's going to happen. But just
yeah.
like tea, we have to just sip on it. Sometimes we
Mm,
can't take the whole gallon of tea, but we can
yeah.
just take a little sip at a time, and it will
Mm,
provide it will quench that thirst. And so, what I want to just suggest to people is sometimes just stop for a minute and look at the situation in the context of the world as it is, your
mm,
world as it is. Sometimes you just have to draw a big circle and
mm.
put a dot and say, this is the problem I have. This is how big the world is. These are
Yeah.
the, and then begin to connect the dots. Find the resources, find people to be part of your village, so that you're not just that dot in the center of the circle, but you begin to connect those dots, those
Mm,
people that, hey, it could be a teacher, it could be another child's parents, that, when you just need to have someone to talk to that maybe understands that, hey, I can't go out to the grocery store because my kid has meltdowns. They
yeah.
understand that. Sometimes just finding that commonality with someone else can go a far way. So we want to remember that. We also want to remember that we sometimes have to take a little distance. My
Mm.
place was my bathroom. It was, hey, I'm, I'm about to go bonkers here. So let me go sit in here for a minute and find my happy place for a moment. And part of that also can be one thing I began to understand that I responded to was sense. So I began to, my thing was, I got a candle and I invested in that. It doesn't have to be something big, but
Yeah.
for me, it was that scent that, oh, that changed how I felt. Like
Mm.
sometimes it's music.
Mm.
Find your thing, that one
Yeah.
thing that it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's just something that recenters you and makes you feel good about you. My other thing is cupcakes. I have this sign that says, I don't know if you can read it. It says, this girl, this girl runs on cupcakes and Jesus. So that's what it says. Give yourself those special little things that at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you say, you know what? This is my moment. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. Take those 5 minutes, breathe, release, and then reaffirm yourself. Have that mirror moment. Even while you're eating that cupcake in the mirror,
Yeah.
look at yourself and say, you know what? I have done my very best today. And remember that you have to encourage yourself. Get the stinking thinking out, recalibrate, and again cultivate the positivity. Understand that, hey, what you are doing many people cannot do, and
Yeah.
so God
Yeah.
has gifted you to do just this for such a time as this.
Yeah. Yeah. That was beautiful. And I love the sign and cupcakes. Cupcakes and Jesus. It's I saw went into I stopped and got some donuts. Yeah, I did. And when I came out, the license plate had donuts and Jesus, and that was the shop. So you talking about cupcakes and Jesus, man? So I'm gonna make cakes and Jesus. Cake. Ooh, boy, boy, I love all.
That's good. And I love what your shirt says because it says one way. We have to remember that whatever we do, it may be different than everybody else. It may not look like everybody else. Your thing might be cake. Somebody else's thing might be, mine's cupcakes. Somebody's is cookies. Whatever that one thing is that makes you feel good, don't deprive yourself of that.
Yeah,
Understand, use it as a reward system and say, you know what? I had a great week. Me and my kid had a great week. We don't have a lot of money. We're going to have a picnic in the living room. We're going to sit
yeah,
down with our cupcake and we're going to celebrate. Don't just wait till birthdays or Mother's Day or those things. Celebrate the small victories each and every day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome because that can be done. You can pick out anything
Yeah.
and do that. And boy, there's truth. And then we teach people how to start to have some success stacks and what
Yeah.
that looks like, right? And using the mirror moment to kind of use that as a jump board into the stacking and how you manage your inventory yourself and your behavior. So lots of good
Yes.
stuff coming up. So Tiffany, I want to say thank you. I mean, I could keep asking you. I mean, we'd be here forever, and I know I'm not going to do that to you on Friday. But you really dropped some really fire again. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and can't wait to see you next week.
Yes, absolutely. And if I can give some homework for our
Yeah,
our, our
yeah,
audience. So
absolutely.
the homework for today is this. I want you to begin to write things down.
Mm,
There's a verse that says that you are to write the vision and make it plain. And so, go find a journal. You can go to a dollar store or get a journal and just begin to write out your thoughts and feelings. If you don't have the access to that, use your cell phone. It has a notes pad. Create
yes.
a notes pad and begin to verbalize the things that you want to see in your life. Some people do vision boards, but it doesn't have to be anything that big. Write down one goal each week and begin to work on that one goal, whether that's for you as an individual, as the caregiver, as well as for your child. Write one goal. It could be that, hey, today they're going to work on putting the dishes away after they
Mm,
eat their meal. One
mm,
thing. so that you can have some accountability for yourself and for your child, so that you can both see yourselves accomplish those goals. And then as we move forward, we're going to begin to kind of show you how to, turn that 1 day goal into a 5 day goal, and
Right.
then build from there, because it is the stones that build the foundation for tomorrow. And so we just want you to enjoy the weekend. Know that we're proud of you. Know
Yeah.
that you can do it. I want you to get that journal, and I want you to begin to write, because writing is therapeutic. It
Yeah.
helps you get sometimes the sad out, as they say. It helps you get the sad out. Sometimes I have to write, hey, this was not a good day. But
Yeah.
just getting it out, so that if you don't have a bunch of people you can depend on, you can go back and reflect. And then years from now, you're going to go back and look at that journal and say, look where we have come from. And
Yeah.
so I encourage you.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. I mean, I love the idea of writing, and you're writing and you start to connect your mind and your actions, and things begin to shift over
Yes.
time. So I love that. And then if you don't have a journal, grab some paper, right? I mean,
Right.
we won't take away the excuse, well, I don't have a journal. Well, hey, guess
Yeah.
what? Grab your old back of an envelope,
That's
grab
right.
whatever you used to grab when you needed to write down something else. Take the time to really do this for yourself, right? So that's
Yes.
that's great stuff. So, and the homework, we'll be checking it on Monday, guys. So you better do it.
There'll be a test.
Yes, there'll be a test. There'll be a test, and we'll get some stars out and all that other stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man, boy, that wasn't me. But anyhow, that's good. So listen, I am saying for real this time, thank you. And thanks for remembering to do the homework, because that's important. We want them to have something to work on, right? Because it's the journey that we've begun, and we want to show up and be a part of that journey and help them out. So Tiffany, thank you so much for all you do.
As always, thank you. I thank you for showing up every day, for being a male in this space, because we need to see that more in our communities.
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate that, and we'll continue. If I can find some fellas that can stand alongside of me, so we again don't take this journey by ourselves. So, Tiffany, thank you so much. Great job today, and we'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
It's Friday.
It's
Enjoy.
Friday.
Yeah.
Happy Friday. That's right. I'll see you, my friend. Take care now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Yeah, so hey guys, it is Friday, not Friday, Friday, right? So we want to say yay to you. We want to say yay to the things that you're trying to do differently. We want to say yay to you that are recognizing that you no longer have to be alone, and you're willing to reach out to us. For those of you that have been doing that, so continue to do that, and just take a vision, write it down, and make it plain. What's one thing? Oh man, that would be awesome. One thing, one little thing, like Tiffany was saying. I'm just a reminder, just a recap of today's message, and I want you to hear me when I say one thing, that one reminder that you can start to celebrate. Let's take a moment and look in the mirror and see yourself accomplishing whatever that is, and how that's going to make you feel. Right? And get your children involved, or get your adult children involved, whoever it might be that you're dealing with a disability. In our case, it's been autism all week. And celebrate, right? Because like we say in Comeback King Enterprises and conversations with Jeff, we believe that our lifestyles are meant for purposing ourselves to become stronger, more focused, stepping into the clarity and the purpose that we're supposed to live in, and not a limitation. So I challenge you today. Stop doing this thing by yourself if you are. And if you are, and you got a group, then let's connect. Either way, we want you to be welcome to our community. And remember, your comeback in your life starts now. Let's do this thing together. Have a fantastic weekend. Make sure you're sharing this information with your friends, and reaching out to us freely about things. And we got some stuff coming up for you soon. So have a great weekend. Don't wait. Reach out to us if you need something right away, and we'll be there to help you. All right. Have a great day. Talk to you on Monday. Bye bye.